The thing that I want to help you with today is to really focus on being intentional with creating that fan. How do you get someone to really feel validated, to feel special, to feel good when they're around you? And how can you do it very quickly? You know, they say you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and that is absolutely accurate. So how do you create a stellar first impression? Well, let me give you a couple of examples for exactly how to do that. And the first way that I'm going to do it is by giving you an example of what not to do and then what to do instead. So, example number one, when you're being intentional about helping somebody else feel good about themselves, one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that you come across very calm and relaxed. I walked into a store one time, a big box store, and this guy was obviously in a hurry running back and forth, and he comes up to me and he goes, "What?" And I just started laughing because I know I'm teaching customer service seminars. So I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." I wasn't even upset. And then, of course, he looked at me out of confusion. But he just couldn't believe that someone walked up and said, "What?" You know, and I'm like, "Oh, I was just wondering where your manager was." So we want to make sure that no matter how busy we are, we're able to acknowledge people and we're able to help them know that they're important. And you can do it very quickly. How many times have you walked up to a customer service counter and there's someone on the phone behind and they haven't even looked at you? And you're sitting there and then you're maybe playing with your keys and then you're looking at your phone and they're having an avid conversation with another customer who did not drive in, and you're sitting there wondering if anybody's ever going to talk to you. All they have to do to create a connection is to look up and say, "I'll be with you in just 1 second." For you to just acknowledge their presence and say, "I'm so sorry, I'll be with you in just 1 second. You're really important to me." That is gold. It happens when you're driving. It's kind of unrelated, but have you ever noticed that when you're driving, if you accidentally have to move in front of somebody or cut somebody off, if you just wave in the background, it's like, "Oh, okay, all right. Before I was going to ram my car into you and shove you off the road, but you gave the wave, so I'm cool with it." Just acknowledging that other person, that they're important to you, goes a million miles. The second thing is make sure that you have a connection with them. I went up to another store and there was a guy and he was talking on the phone and then he talked to me, but he never looked at me. It was more like, "Can I help you? Okay. Yeah, you need this? All right, you got your receipt? You got this? All right, fine." And he pushed his stuff back and he goes, "Next." And he never even looked up. Instead, looking at somebody, smiling. One of the best ways to make sure that you make eye contact is to ask yourself, mortgages. And he figured that the customer service part of it didn't really matter because he was smart and he was competent and he was significant at his job. He was really good. No one can write a better contract than me. And my customers get a really great deal. The problem was that his customers were few and far between simply because they couldn't connect with him. So I said, "I want you to start looking for their eye color and smiling." And at first he did kind of one of these, you know, I thought his face was going to break off. We needed the oil can from the Tin Man. But we got him smiling. That next quarter, his income went up 30%. 30% because he was smiling and he was connecting with people. He said, "I couldn't believe it." He said people started sending me their friends and complimenting me and were really appreciative of the work. And the work itself hadn't changed. I was just, being nicer to them and smiling more, and turns out it did matter. Now my wife's really upset because, she says, "I've been telling you to do that for 25 years. How much money has it costed us?" So we want to make sure that we're focusing on connecting with people. We also want to take ownership. I was at a call center, and it was for a gas company, and they, usually when you get a call in customer service and you work at a gas company, it's not because people want to wish you a nice day. It's usually because their gas was turned off or some disaster is happening, and they call up and they're angry and they're in a panic, and "Why did you turn my gas off?" instead of owning it. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we are validating their pain, their fear, their suffering by saying one word: "Sorry. I'm so sorry that you're going through this right now. Let's see what we can do together to find a solution for you." And I've had people that have said, "Well, I'm not saying sorry. It's not my fault. They should have paid their gas bill." And they start to make it about themselves. They're not making it about the customer. They're not making it about the company. And they're not making it about making a better difference in the world. They're making it about themselves and their ego. So being able to connect with people and just say, "I'm sorry you're going through this." You're not saying, "I'm sorry it's my fault." You're saying, "I'm sorry that you're going through this. Let's figure out a way to get through this together. Or, I'm sorry you're going through this. Tell me about what's going on so I really understand where you're coming from, and then we'll figure out a way to get through this together. Man, when you get someone that talks to you like that, it is amazing. There's another big company out there that I used to be terrified to call their customer service because I felt like a prisoner. I'd be waiting online forever, and then all of a sudden I would get, "Hello, what's your name and number?" I'm like, geez, it's like you really even care. They must have went through some kind of a training like this, though, because I called up the other day, and someone answers the phone like I'm their lost best friend. "Hello, it's so nice to talk to you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It would be my pleasure to serve you. How can I help you this evening?" And I'm like, wow, did I call the right place? "Oh, you did. And we're so delighted that you called. How may I serve you today?" All of a sudden, I'm attaching these good feelings onto this person. And when I associate good feelings to that person, I associate good feelings to that company. And all of a sudden, I want to do business with that company. And isn't customer service all about that? I walked into another store, and I said, "Hey, can you show me where the pencils are?" And the guy goes like this. And I went, "Okay, down that way and then maybe somewhere down there." And he said, "Yeah, you'll find them down there on the end." I said, "Okay, thanks." I go to another store, and there's a gentleman there that's putting something away, and I said, "Hey, where's the pencils?" And he says, "Oh, my friend, let me show you where the pencils are." "So, my friend, how are you doing today?" And I'm like, "Fine, good." He says, "Oh, that's great, my friend. Come on with me. We'll find those pencils for you. What kind of pencils are you looking for?" And he kept calling me his friend. And you know what? By the end of it, we were friends because he kept calling me friends. He kept putting those ideas in my mind. I went into another store, and this guy, Frank, I love Frank. And I was in the store with him, and we were having conversations, and we were laughing about our kids, and we were talking about different places we went to, and then he'd be finding solutions for me. He says, "Well, we're not going to buy anything in here if it doesn't give you a solution. If it doesn't give you a return on your money, we're not going to buy it." You know, it was all of a sudden like he was a partner in my solutions. I'm like, I love this guy. And I started laughing because even though I know that he was doing a great job as a salesman, he didn't come across that way. It was the customer service. He went so far, and I ended up buying a whole pile of stuff because I just love this guy. And I needed the stuff. I didn't know it at the time, but I needed this stuff. And he even walked me to my car. Now that's customer service. He created a raving fan. He made such an impression, I'm traveling around the country talking to big groups about my buddy Frank. That is how you create a raving fan.